Alright, so last but not least, we have this composite figure here, number 12. This is kind of the biggie, I think. I think there's a couple things that make this one difficult we're going to talk about as we get there. But we just want to remember that we're doing a composite figure, so we're putting it together. Okay, so we're going to add some stuff. But we also have to remember kind of our main definition of surface area is how much paint on the outside. How much paint will go on the outside, right? If I were going to paint this thing, how much paint would I need to get all the way around the outside? And that's going to be really important, because what we're going to do is we're going to take S1, this thing on top, the surface area of the first one, we're going to add it to the surface area of the second one. But that's not exactly the surface area of the composite figure, and that's because it has this shared stuff in the middle, right? This base of the pyramid or the base of the prism, it's the same thing, right? This shared piece isn't going to get paint when we paint it. So we're actually going to subtract the shared space. And then remember that this shared space, we have to subtract it once for the pyramid, but we also have to subtract it for the prism. So we're actually going to do minus 2 times the shared. Minus 2 times the shared. So S1 over here, it's this pyramid. It would be big B plus 1/2 P times H. And those are things you would pick up off of your formula sheet. That would be something you could get off of your formula sheet. And then the prism down here, this is a surface area of 2, which would be 2B plus P times H. All right, so we've kind of got our S1 and our S2. And then the other thing is that if we think about this, right, what would my shared be? Well, my shared is this area of the base. So I know shared is going to be whatever B is. Okay, and I'm just going to plug in B for shared, and then I'm going to times that by 2. So for S1, we need to find B, we need to find P, we need to find, I'm sorry, this is not H. For surface area of a pyramid, it's L. So we need to find L slant height. But that's good news, because they give us the L slant height. It's right here. It's 25 centimeters. Well, what about perimeter? What's the perimeter of this base? Well, this base is a square. At least it looks to be a square, and we're going to say it's a square. And this side right here is going to be the same as this side on the bottom. So it's going to be 48 by 48. So in other words, our base is this square, and it's 48 by 48 by 48 by 48. It's 48 all the way around. In other words, I have 4 48s here, so I could do 48 times 4. That gives me 192 for my perimeter. Well, what about the base? I have, like we said, I have this square, the base is a square, and I know that the area of a square is just length times width, or side times side, which is 48 times 48. And that's going to equal a really big number. And that's why I think this particular problem is a little difficult on this worksheet. But on the test, the numbers will be a little smaller, so it'll be a little easier to handle. So if we're going to find S1, we're going to set this equal. I'm going to just make a squiggly here so we don't get distracted. So 2,304 plus 1/2 times 192 times 25. And these are all just the numbers I'm pulling from this list here that I've created for myself. So 2,304 plus, well, I don't have to do that in my head. I can go to my calculator, 1/2 times 192 times 25, you get 2,400. So plus 2,400. So S1 is 4,704 centimeters squared. So I have S1. right? That's the first thing I need. In fact, if I wanted to save my place, I could go ahead and plug it in already. 4,704. And if I'm doing that, I know that since B shared is the B, well, big B is 2,304. So I can plug that into B as well. And now I see that all I need is that S2, right? I'm just plugging that in. All I need is S2. Well, S2 is down here. So let's go find it. S2 is 2B plus perimeter times the height. Well, interesting, if I think about this, really, let's just think about this really logically here. The big B base, area of the base of this prism is this square. But we already found the area of this square. It's 2,304. So we can use that again. And the same thing for the perimeter. We found the perimeter of this square. It's 192. And then the height is actually really simple. It's just the distance between the bases. So here's a base down here. Here's a base up here. What's this distance? Well, that's 18. So S2, and I'm just going to, again, write that squiggly to distinguish our list. S2 is 2 times 2,304 plus 192 times 18. And these, again, are all things I can just plug into my calculator. You don't have to do this in your head. 2,304 times 2 is 4,608. And then 192 times 18 is just 3,456. Add those two things together. S2 equals 8,064. That would be centimeters cubed, or sorry, squared, but you don't need to worry about that yet. So that's S2. I'm just going to go back and plug it in up here. 8,064. So now that whole thing I can just plug into my calculator and get the answer. Okay, so it looks something like this. 4,704 plus 8,064 minus 2 times the shared 2,304. We're going to get a surface area of 8,160 centimeters squared. So that's our combined or our composite surface area.